We are back here, live here, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm here to talk about Smackdown from this week. And yeah, it was another enjoyable show. I still, I still enjoyed the show despite some of the things that I feel like there are still some things we need answered, like why did Aleister Black attack Big E? I feel like that still needs questioning, but maybe we'll find out the next week. But overall, we got more women. So that's a plus. I guess I can't really complain in that department. But anyway, our first matchup is the Usos and the Street Profits, and what a fantastic tag team match it was. It was exactly everything you would have expected from two phenomenal tag teams. The Usos would get the victory, and next week the Usos will challenge for the SmackDown Tag Team Championships. Now, do I feel the Usos are going to break up? Do I feel that Roman is going to manipulate Jey Uso to the point where Jimmy Uso and Jey Uso break up? I think that's a possibility. I think that's a really strong possibility that we're probably going to see the Usos eventually break up. So, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see, man. We'll see. And speaking of tag team action, we also had more. We had more tag team action, but this time it was for the women. The women's tag team champions, Natalya and Tamina. They took on the Riot Squad, Ruby Riot and Liv Morgan. Yes, they're alive. Ruby and Liv are indeed alive, and they are alive and well. And it seems like they will be cutting the corner of becoming heels, because they seem to be wrestling more like heels on SmackDown, which obviously makes sense because Natalya and Tamina are faces. Oh, by the way, you know how I said about Natalya and Tamina's face turn was just so random and so odd how they would randomly become baby faces? Well, I actually looked it up. Apparently, their face turn happened because the fans cheered them at WrestleMania. Okay. Okay, that is possibly by far one of the most weirdest and most ridiculous way to turn somebody babyface. Just because the crowd cheered them doesn't mean they're faces. It shouldn't mean they're faces. So is that how things are gonna work now? Is that how things are gonna work now? If fans decide to boo someone, they're heels, or if the crowd choose to cheer someone, they're faces. If that's the excuse you're gonna give me, then that is exactly how because that's exactly how it seems like. Because they straight up said they turned face because the fans were cheering them at WrestleMania. Like, that's a lame-ass reason to turn Natalya and Tamina babyface. Don't get me wrong, I like Natalya. I prefer her as a face than as a heel. Tamina, I've never really been a big fan of her, but I have appreciated some of the things that she has done within the company. Like last year, her program, and it was actually around about this time last year, her program with Bayley and Sasha Banks last year. Like, her program with Sasha and Bayley last year was actually really good. I really enjoyed Tamina's work last year with Bayley and Sasha Banks. So Tamina has her moments. So, you know, I just think it's really bizarre and weird to say that they're faces all because the crowd were cheering them at WrestleMania. I just find that pretty weird. And kind of a lame reason to turn them face. You could have at least tried to make the fans care for them. Maybe that would have worked more. If you had the fans care for them, give them sympathy. But the fact they were working as heels. Before WrestleMania, they were working as heels. And now, all of a sudden, we're supposed to cheer them and think they're good people? I don't know. I just think it's kind of weird. But what's done is done. It seems like now they could be turning Liv Morgan and Ruby Riott heel. I personally would not mind this. I personally wouldn't mind this, even though I feel like Liv Morgan works better as a babyface. But, to be fair, what else can you really do with them? You've got a babyface tag team as the tag team champions now. On Raw, you've basically got Dana and Mandy, who are a face team, and you've got Naomi and Lana, who are also a face team. And you've also got the Riot Squad, who are also a face team. So I guess it's only natural you got to start turning maybe a couple of them heel. Especially if you're going to have them challenge for the titles down the road. Nia and Shayna are pretty much breaking up soon, so I don't know, man. I just think it's pretty weird. But Tamina and Natalya would end up getting the win here. Tamina would splash Ruby Riott, pinning her after the Superfly splash. Bianca Belair had competed in a match. She took on Carmella in a pretty decent match. I'm actually quite surprised. Really good effort by Carmella. I love the ring. I love Carmella's ring gear, by the way. That's one of my favorite ones. The money one and the one she had at the Royal Rumble this year against Sasha Banks, that was indeed two of my favorite gears from Carmella. But yeah, it was actually a pretty decent match. Bayley was at ringside, Bayley being hilarious as always. Michael Cole made a blunder on commentary and Bayley called him out for it. And overall, I think Bayley is just so entertaining as a heel. She never provided anything like this as a babyface. She never provided entertainment. She never made me laugh. She never did anything to really make me interest her during her entire run as a babyface. But ever since her heel turn, she's just done something for me that and you know me. If you've been watching my reviews since the very beginning, you know that I have been clamoring for Bayley to be a heel for years. You would know I was wanting her to be a heel for years. And the fact that she's a heel and this heel persona of Bayley is just making me really care for her. And she's funny. She's hilarious. Like, would this role model character work as a babyface? I personally don't know. Bayley is just such a... here's the thing, people are so used to things the way they used to be. They think someone just naturally fits the way they used to be. Yes, Bayley in her time used to be a natural babyface. In her time period before this heel turn. Before her time period, yes, she was a natural babyface. But those days are gone. Those days are over. Her days of being a natural babyface are over. She's no longer that natural babyface. She's now somebody who works tremendously as a heel. Same thing for Sami Zayn. In his time, he was a natural babyface, but now he's a treasured heel. He is so goddamn funny and entertaining as a heel. Sometimes you just gotta deal with change. Sometimes change has to happen. People can't remain the same forever. I just don't understand how people just prefer a character just to stay the way they are. Just because you prefer that version doesn't mean Bayley or Sami Zayn want to remain that character forever. Some people, and the thing is, characters have to evolve. They have to change. They have to grow. If they just remain the same forever, they become bland and boring. People just stop caring. They want to see characters evolve. They want to change. They want to see characters change and characters evolve and become better wrestlers. And seeing what they're like on an opposite side. This is why I love Bayley so much as a heel more than I ever loved her as a babyface. I just hated the character. She was still a good wrestler. I never doubted her in-ring ability. I just hated the character. It was just not for me. The character is more for more for little kids. That's all Bayley's character was just for little kids. It's like they needed another John Cena like character. Who gives a shit? You can eat. Who gives a shit, right? Who gives a shit about those kind of characters? You don't need those kind of characters anymore. It's up for the little kitty wigs to start realizing you don't need a character for little kids. Like, little kids have brains. They can idolize anybody they want. They can idolize anybody. You don't need to have a wrestler with a character that's for kids. That's just my personal opinion. But yes, I've always preferred Bianca as a heel. I'm not really into Bianca as a babyface, but overall, her match with Carmella was pretty good. So that's really all I can say there. Seth Rollins is so good. There's a little quick one there for you. But kidding aside, jokes aside, his segment about Cesaro was pretty good. Seth is just so awesome. He works great as a face and as a heel, but he's really stepped up his game as a heel with this visionary character. Hopefully they eventually give him some followers, because why give him this whole embrace the vision catchphrase if he's not going to have anybody embrace his vision? That's really all I have to feel about that. But overall, good segment. Kevin Owens battled Apollo Crews, and the Intercontinental Championship was not on the line in this match. Greg Hamilton, for some stupid reason, just decided to announce that Apollo is still the Intercontinental Champion despite losing by a countout. The title wasn't on the line. They said Kevin Owens was fighting for a future opportunity at the Intercontinental Championship. They never said it was for the title. I don't know why Greg Hamilton said that. I guess little botches and blunders can happen every now and then. But yeah. But anyway, after the assault, Kevin Owens got hit with the Nigerian nail, the Nigerian version of the Samoan spike. Little old Commander Aziz over here, thinking he's Umaga. But next week, Kevin Owens gets an Intercontinental Championship match, and Commander Aziz is barred from ringside. I don't know why some people are going to be upset about Kevin Owens becoming champion. The last time Kevin Owens was champion was in 2017. He hasn't been champion since 2017. If my memory serves me correctly, the last time he was champion was when he was the United States champion. So how come? So I get it. It's about the future, and I've spoken that line so often. Apollo is definitely deserving to remain Intercontinental Champion. But this is just a question. My question is, why is it an issue if Kevin Owens becomes Intercontinental Champion? Why is that an issue? He hasn't been champion since 2017. So how come a guy like him, who hasn't been champion for about at least 4 years, apparently him winning a championship is bad, but yet people would want to see someone like Alexa Bliss with her current character be a champion, all because she hasn't been Raw Women's Champion or hasn't won a singles title in 3 years. So Kevin Owens shouldn't be a champion because he hasn't been champion in 4 years, but Alexa Bliss should be a champion who hasn't been champion in 3 years. I don't know. It's just so bizarre. Alexa Bliss doesn't need a title, especially with her character. I don't know why I'm bringing up Alexa Bliss, but whatever. I mean, I guess it's a good example for... I guess it's a good example of what I'm going with here. But I just don't see the issue if Kevin Owens is a champion. If he hasn't been champion in like 4 years. And yes, Apollo is deserving to be the Intercontinental Champion. Yes, I get that. But at the same time, I just don't see how Vince can be bored of Apollo already. I just can't see how Vince could be bored of Apollo right now. Apollo is doing fantastic things as the Intercontinental Champion. Yeah, Commander Aziz being at ringside is a bit of a pain. He constantly interferes. Yeah, that's a bit of a royal pain in the ass, but, you know, that's a typical heel trope. It's a typical heel trope. Heel wrestlers always have a heeled manager to back them up. It's a typical heel thing. I just don't see the problem if Kevin Owens is Intercontinental Champion if he does win next week. I don't see Kevin Owens winning next week. If Kevin Owens does win next week, then he does. It is what it is. Shinsuke Nakamura battled Alpha Academy's Chad Gable and also Shinsuke Nakamura had Rick Boogs again by his side. I guess Rick Boogs is now his manager. Not that it's a bad thing. He's not really doing anything to make me go, wow, he's not really doing anything that makes me, you know, not really like it. I mean, all he's doing is Kataring Nakamura to the ring. That's really all he's doing, so can't really say much there. It was a decent match for how short it was. Jeez, Chad Gable is so underrated, man. I just don't get how WWE have got a great talented guy like Chad Gable and they just treat him as an enhancement. He and Otis are actually a decent team. We've seen how impressive they are as a team. So why can't they challenge for the tag team championships? They're a tag team. But anyway, Nakamura would get the win. My apologies, my cat was banging on my window. Wanted to come inside, so yeah, my apologies there. Shinsuke Nakamura would get the win with the Kinshasa knee strike. And King Corbin would come at ringside. He'd take the crown. But our boy Rick Boogs clobbers Corbin and Nakamura gets his crown back. For some reason, I guess I can't, it's not really Shinsuke's crown, I guess we should really say. He once again takes King Corbin's crown. For some reason, people think this is leading to a King of the Ring tournament. I mean, it wouldn't be a bad thing. It wouldn't be a bad thing if that's where they want to go with it. But I don't know. I really don't know how to feel about another King of the Ring tournament. Sure, if it's just to get rid of Baron Corbin's King of the Ring gimmick, then, I mean, all it is, it's just passing it on to somebody else. The thing is, the King of the Ring tournament, you're basically just passing King Corbin's character onto somebody else. That's all you're doing. I miss the good old days. I miss the good old days with the King of the Ring tournament, where the King of the Ring tournament actually meant something. Remember when Booker T won the King of the Ring tournament in 2006? My God! My God, how well he... Oh, my God, how well he portrayed that role. Yes, he had the King of the Ring gimmick, like Baron Corbin, but he also became World Heavyweight Champion. And he had a good run with the championship. That's what the King of the Ring tournament should be all about. It should be all about earning a future title opportunity. It shouldn't be all about putting a crown on your damn head, wearing a silly cape, and holding a silly scepter. It should mean more than just putting a damn crown on your head. If they want to do a King of the Ring tournament, I guess fine. If it's just to get rid of Corbin's King of the Ring character, I guess fine, whatever. But at the same time, I just want it to be like the good old days, where the King of the Ring tournament winner gets a future World Heavyweight Championship opportunity, whether it's the Universal or WWE Championships, just depending on the brand you're on. I just feel like that's what the King of the Ring tournament should be all about. It should not be about putting a damn crown on your head and calling yourself king. Okay, for some reason they made a mistake here on .com. They have they have the match of Dominic and Seth Rollins inside of a steel cage from last year on there. That's pretty weird, but Dominic Mysterio would retain the Smackdown Tag Team titles in a handicap match because Rey Mysterio got attacked backstage. Oh, gee, I wonder who attacked Rey Mysterio. Gee, I only wonder who would have done it. I wonder if it was those nasty, vile, dirty dogs. Come on, you can't fool me. But anyway, Dominic Mysterio would defeat the Dirty Dogs in a handicap match. Rey would eventually come out, but he came out at the very end to distract Dolph Ziggler, which led to Dominic Mysterio rolling up and pinning Robert Roode. My God, I miss the old Robert Roode, man. My God, how much do I miss the old Bobby Roode. I miss the old glorious Bobby Roode. Can't they... I mean... I know some people would prefer him as a heel, but why can't we just get Bobby Roode as a babyface? I'm probably the only guy in the world that actually didn't mind Bobby Roode as a babyface. I'm probably the only guy in the world that probably didn't mind Bobby Roode when he was a babyface in 2018, I think it was, when he got called up. I'm probably the only guy in the world that probably ever liked him when he was a face. Some prefer Dolph Ziggler as a face. I mean, yeah, I guess, but Dolph Ziggler's heyday as a babyface are over. When he was, like back in 2014 was Dolph Ziggler's best moments as a babyface. I think now those days are past him. Like, those days of making him a very good babyface, I just can't see that really being any good for him now, especially, what year we're in. Considering what year we're in, I just can't really see Ziggler performing well. Well, he can perform well as a babyface, but I just can't see him, bringing that magic that he used to have back in 2014. I think it's time for the Dirty Dogs to split. I think it's time for Bobby Roode to go back to his old glorious gimmick and turn either one babyface. Personally, I don't care. Just turn one of them face, have one of them be heel, and yeah, I'm just ready for the Dirty Dogs to be no longer a thing. I know it will be. Yeah, I know it will suck. We'll lose another tag team, but do you want to know who you could easily have replace Dolph Ziggler and Bobby Roode in the tag team division? Buddy Murphy and Shane Thorne. You got those two guys sitting around doing jack shit. Put them together as a tag team. Rename them name them the Mighty Don't Fall, and you got yourself a really good tag team. Two talented guys in as a great tag team on the blue brand. Done and dusted. Simple as that. And if Commander Aziz ever decides to step in the ring, you can make Apollo Crews and Commander Aziz a tag team. But anyway, that is all I got for you guys here on this SmackDown review. Overall, it was a great show. SmackDown is always enjoyable. Always way more enjoyable than Monday Night Raw. And considering that I am in lockdown, I may review Raw. I probably will because I should be consistent with my channel, but who knows, man? Who knows, man? Who knows? But considering SmackDown is always the better show and Raw always makes me want to, you know, lose my damn mind of how terrible it is, we'll see, man. We'll see. But anyway, thank you all so much for joining me for this review. I hope you guys enjoyed. Hit that thumbs up. Comment your thoughts and opinions down below about SmackDown. And one last thing before I go. There's one more thing I want to talk about before I go. Now, this has been a rumor. I thought I'd talk about this because I think this could be a good thing as a good discussion for everybody in the comment section down below. There's been a rumor, been going around for about a day or so, and it came out from Dave Meltzer. Now, Dave Meltzer isn't the most reliable guy when it comes to news reports and articles, but Dave Meltzer put out an article. Now, I don't know where I just heard it from other people. Apparently there is a rumor going around that New Japan Pro Wrestling is in talks with WWE with a partnership, with a rumored partnership with WWE. New Japan and WWE potentially forming a partnership and working together. Now, I've heard a lot of comments about this. Some people think it's good, but most people think it's bad. Because apparently New Japan want to get more fans and more eyes on their product in the United States. That is the kind of main reason why they want to bond a friendship or a partnership with WWE. What's so wrong with that? What's so wrong with that? But again, we're talking with this is WWE we're talking about. We know how people feel about WWE. And because New Japan isn't working with a certain promotion, are not going to work with a certain promotion, an elite promotion, since they're possibly not going to be working with them, people are losing their minds. People are losing their minds. They think New Japan should work with that elite company. I mean, let's be real here. AEW, the elite company, they've already got a partnership with Impact. So, I don't know. So, meh. I'm not really going to voice my opinion all that much on it. Me personally, I don't really care if WWE wants to form a partnership with New Japan or not. It's most likely not going to happen because when it comes to Dave Meltzer, you never really believe anything he says. And would WWE really want to work in a partnership with another promotion? That's never really been WWE's thing. WWE working with another promotion hasn't really been their thing. Would I mind some dream matches? Hell yeah. I've seen maybe like 2 Wrestle Kingdoms. I think I've watched maybe like 2 Wrestle Kingdoms. I wouldn't mind a couple of dream matches. Will Ospreay facing Ricochet. Okada, their big attraction in Japan. I wouldn't mind seeing Okada compete against Roman Reigns. You know, I wouldn't mind a couple of dream matches. And yeah, and the other thing is, a lot of the fans might not know who a lot of the New Japan guys are. Which that can be one of the other main problems with this partnership if it indeed does happen. I don't see it happening though, guys, so I don't think fans should really be fighting and arguing over it. But hey, it's hard to enjoy wrestling these days because, you know, fans always like to argue and And it's all about picking a side when it comes to these people. It's all about picking a side. It's either your team AEW or your team WWE. So these people, apparently you have to pick a team. Now, obviously, I don't watch any other promotions. This is coming from a guy that only watches WWE. But even though that is the only thing I watch, I will still say, enjoy what you want. Enjoy what you want. It's pro wrestling. You can enjoy whatever the hell you want to watch. It is your decision. Enjoy all shows. Enjoy every company. Sure, I don't do that. But I think that's good advice to pass around to other people. Just enjoy what you want. Don't argue and don't friggin' fight with people. Don't friggin' fight and argue with people. Just sit down and enjoy wrestling for what it's supposed to be. But it's impossible to do that these days. But that's just a big rumor that has been going around. I don't see it happening. So, you guys let me know down below your thoughts and opinions on the possible rumored WWE New Japan partnership. And, yeah, I will see you all next time.